from Mommy Diaries, and today I have with me Hena Mehta. She has a fabulous startup for women called Get Basis, and I'd love to have you learn more about it.
Great. So yeah, thanks Tanya for having me. I'll just start by giving a quick introduction on what Basis is. So I started Basis last year after I realized what a giant gap there is when it comes to women and money management and taking ownership of our financial lives. And arguably, women do need to manage this aspect of their lives more than men even, right? We live longer, chances are we'll probably outlive our spouses, we have higher healthcare costs, we have like a very different, career paths that we may take. And so having a good handle on our money, on our investments, etc. becomes that much more important, right? So Basis it's a content and community driven platform that's focused on financial independence of women. So we have an app where we actually guide our users through their investments. We have some learning modules up there where you can learn the basics, and we run a community on Facebook, and we have a ton of content on our website and in our app, etc. So still early days, but it is picking up, and it's great to see that women are so enthusiastic about it.
That sounds fabulous. So actually earlier this week I posed a question on Instagram as well to see what women wanted to learn more about. And some of the things I got that I would love for you to address is how to teach our children about money, how to tell your child something expensive. I know that comes up regularly in our household as well. And then how can women invest wiser and more sensibly and just know more about their options?
Yeah, so I'll take the first question about teaching kids about money. Now, full disclaimer, I'm not a mom, but I've spoken to so many moms and try to understand this. I have a niece, I have a nephew. So I think some of the things that I've seen that work are, one is to just be open about money, right? I think parents do tend to, talk about this separately and things like that. I think transparency is key. Talk about money, talk about if, for God forbid, if there are hardships, etc., like involve the kids, right? The second thing I would say is helping them understand trade-offs, right? So this is almost like setting a budget and then saying, okay, within this budget, we can either, let's say we're choosing between a holiday or, buying something that was, your kid wanted to buy. And I think understanding that it has to be one or the other, let's say within a certain budget, just kind of helps them kind of understand the trade-offs and understand that, you can't have it all and it's not easy to just, buy whatever it is you want. And the third thing, which I see happening a lot more in the West, maybe doesn't India, I know you're a mom of two wonderful children, but helping them kind of understand the need to earn it, right? So like small chores around the house, helps them, let's say, earn a little bit of cash and then use that cash to buy X or buy Y, right? And so the question on like how do you make kids understand that something's expensive? Well, you have to work that much harder to buy it, right? So let's say a small example of, let's say, putting away the dishes every night. Like you may have to do that 10 times to buy that, I don't know, PlayStation or whatever it is that the kid may want, or otherwise with something cheaper, it'll just cost you less in terms of the time and effort. So
I know that.
Right? So I've heard these things work, but yeah, if folks have tried other things, I would, love to hear it. This one's a tough one. Like I don't think I grew up understanding the value of money until much later. And I think parents do it it comes from a good place, right? But I think there is value in just being sort of transparent about what's happening.
I couldn't agree more. My son actually once told me to go to work because he wanted to buy a nicer car. So a toy car, not an actual car on Amazon that he had seen.
Yeah. So he understands you have to work to grab it. So that's great.
And Monopoly somehow helps.
That's true.
Basics,
Yeah,
like
games
board
and
games and stuff.
yeah, absolutely. So and I think we're in a world where information is, everywhere, etc. And I think as parents, we just probably need to distill that down too.
And they have access to everything. That's the thing. He knows what things cost because he's looked them up on Amazon. Siri has helped him, or Alexa has helped him.
Right. I think that's good and a little scary. Yeah, and the second question, which I guess is a little different, on how do you kind of pick the best investment options, how do you get started, right? So I think step one is to bridge whatever knowledge gap there may be, right? Like understand the basics. It's really not that hard. I think there is a myth that finance and financial concepts, etc., are scary and complex, etc. But just knowing the very bare basic things, the bare minimum stuff is very easy to help you get started, right? So like I said, on the Basis app, we've actually created these bite-sized learning modules that you can literally take. You're stuck in traffic, you can just, it's kind of a flashcard thing on your mobile app, and you can just sort of take lessons. But we've covered things like, how is inflation affecting the price of things, what is compounding, starting from the basics, and then kind of going into advanced topics of, how do you save for retirement, what are mutual funds, and things like that. So I think bridging that knowledge gap is step one. Step two is starting with something, starting with a small investment, right? So get your feet wet a little bit. You can start investing in mutual funds for as low as literally 100 rupees, right? So if you're like a little scared or wary or like not trusting of this space because it's not your tangible gold or real estate that most people, especially in India, are used to, this could be a good way to warm up to this world, right? So start with a very small investment and then grow it from there. And I think number three, I would say, is set financial goals, right? So goal-based investing is really the most effective way of managing your money. So what this means is, so a goal essentially consists of three parts. One is, what is the purpose for a goal? So let's say you're saving up for your kid to go to college. When do you need that money by? So let's say you have a 5-year-old, you need it in the next 13 years. And how much does it cost today, right? And so then what happens is, and again, the Basis app, we've automated all of this. So we literally take these three inputs and then we calculate, given the average rate of inflation for the education category, right? So if something costs, let's say like a lakh today, it will cost X in 13 years. And so that's the goal we need to get to. And then working backwards, we see how much we need to put away every month into what kind of fund, and then it just becomes like a habit. So SIPs are a great way to invest. They're systematic investment plans, which essentially mean that you put away, it's an automated investment, so money gets deducted from your bank account on a monthly basis. You pick the date. We recommend doing it in the first week of the month because that's typically right after people get salaries, stuff like that. And then the system will just invest it for you. And then you don't have to do anything. You kind of just let it be. Check in on it maybe every year or so, more frequently than that is not needed, and then you kind of see compounding and other things work. So I would say those would be the 3 steps to get started. Obviously, there are slightly more advanced concepts for like retirement, which is farther away, and you need a much larger corpus of money to get to that. But these would be like great ways to start.
That's actually really helpful. One of the things that had also come up was, given the current market environment and the negativity that there is around it and around putting money away and where it will be a few years from now, what do you think are the safest investments?
So I would look at the market downturn as a way to either pull out your investments or just stop investing, right? Because markets are cyclical, as we know, right? There's dips and there's, the market will pick up and all of that. So the ups and downs of the market don't actually impact long-term investments. So in this example that we just did with your kids' education, which is, let's say, 13, 15 years away, ups and downs in the market actually don't affect your investments over the long term. Obviously, if there is something you're saving up in the short term, so let's say you're saving up for a trip that you want to take next year, then you may have to revisit it and then move your investments into something safer, like a fixed deposit or a liquid mutual fund, which are kind of designed for short-term returns. But otherwise, in fact, there are studies done on how when the markets fall, you actually don't check it, don't panic, because pulling out of your, let's say, a long-term investment plan is the worst thing you can do for your money. And the markets will pick up. It's just the nature of this space.
Great, that's really helpful.
Yeah. Awesome. So I hope this was useful. If folks do have questions, happy to answer them. You can just comment or send us a DM and
DM me at Mommy Diaries or Hena and Get Business.
Yes. Great, thank you.